Good evening and welcome to EBTV's coverage of East Brunswick High School athletics. Tonight, football against the Falcons of Monroe Township High School. Hi, I'm Ken Saroka along with Richie Whalen. And Richie, when we were here doing the first game of the season, we're all hopes and smiles, and then got crushed by a good South Brunswick team, and then followed up by another crushing defeat to Sayreville. But last week, a victory against North Brunswick, and I guess they say winning is a great deodorant.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, got to be for the players. They're shut out for the first 11 quarters of the season, and then they scored 14 against North Brunswick for a 14-0 victory. So they have to have some confidence. Monroe's coming in, though, a pretty talented offensive team. So it's going to be, defense has to really step up tonight for the Bears.
And you look at Monroe's schedule, and this game has been a tough game for the Bears the last few years. Even though we won the state championship in '09 against them in the snow at Trenton State College, college in New Jersey, Monroe has played a very competitive game against South Brunswick.
Yeah, Monroe lost 35-32, so they're able to score against South Brunswick. The other common opponent was North Brunswick, which they beat 44-27. So they were able to put up some points against North Brunswick. Maybe East Brunswick, being able to shut out North Brunswick, maybe they can, slow them down offensively a little bit. And it's looked like, East Brunswick defensively has done a nice job. If you compare the North Brunswick score, North Brunswick scored 27 against Monroe, and East Brunswick shut them out, albeit North Brunswick was without their starting running back. So that maybe hurt North Brunswick a little bit.
All right, well, we'll talk about injuries here. We got an injury question about whether or not the starting quarterback for the Bears will be on the field today.
Yeah, John Gerhardt has been battling an injury a little bit, but in his place, Kevin Hemmings has done a nice job running the offense. I was impressed with Jason Parker running the ball up the middle for the Bears. Chris Ramos is another guy to look at. And just looking at East Brunswick, they're going to have to sustain some drives. I was reading in the paper the North Brunswick game that they won. I think they had 3 third-down conversions and 1 fourth-down conversion, and they have to be that type of team that's able to keep Monroe's offense off the field.
Well, one of the things we saw in that first game against South Brunswick was the lack of positive yardage on first down. I mean, you're always ending up maybe in a third and long situation.
Yeah, you want to be able to, first couple plays, get some positive yards and give, third downs where you're able to convert them. You don't want the third and longs that a lot of times we saw the first game that we covered. You want those 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4s where East Brunswick is able to convert those.
And we'll be back with the opening kickoff for tonight's game in just a moment. And we're back here at J. Doyle Field for the opening kickoff. East Brunswick won the toss, will defer to the second half, meaning they will kick to Monroe. The Bears in the home green and white. Monroe Township High School in the white with purple helmets and the trim with gold pants. Bears come into this game 1-2, Monroe 2-1, red division matchup. I'm Ken Saroka along with Richie Whalen. And we are underway here shortly on a relatively beautiful night. I mean, there's the threat of rain in the area, but right now just a full moon ducking in and out of some high wispy clouds and a good breeze here at J. Doyle.
I think East Brunswick here deferring and kicking off here is maybe seeing if they can kick off and get a stop and slow down this Monroe offense here. So if they can do that and get the ball back, I think it's a good move here to kick off, try to set the tone with their defense.
And ready to tee it up for the Bears, John Boyko, number 13, will kick it from the 40, going north and south here, or left to right on your television screen. It looks like an overload to the short end of the field here.
I know Coach Borden likes to do this little pooch too in that dead spot. Let's see what he does.
And we have timeout already.
A flag.
Dead ball foul. Encroachment on the return team. 5 yards.
Wow, okay, I have never seen that where somebody came across that 10-yard zone beforehand and from Monroe and well, back it off. Well, that's unusual. We do have, as you hear, we do have the referee mic'd up for tonight's game.
You got to keep that, like Ken was saying, you got to keep that 10-yard cushion and can't be cheating up if you think there's an onside kick. So we'll see.
Same kind of situation here. You have two to the top of the screen and 8 to the bottom. Boyko ready to pooch it up or bounce it up. The ball is fielded, it looks like cleanly by Glenn Johnson, a linebacker, offensive lineman. As I don't think Boyko got that bounce that he'd like, the high bounce or the awkward bounce.
Exactly.
Well, you give the Monroe Falcons a chance to operate now on their 42-yard line, 1st and 10.
Got to give Monroe a little credit there. It seemed like you were saying they had some linemen and not exactly their hands team out there, and the coach didn't panic or call timeout, and they were able to get the ball.
Under center here for the Falcons, Stephen Caroli, number 5. He's got at least 207 yards passing. I think probably more because with those stats I don't think are updated from last game. And second penalty on the second play of the game here.
Full start, offensive team, 5 yards, still 1st down.
Little opening jitters here as that ball gets pushed back 5 yards. It'll be 1st and 15 now. 2 receivers split to the top of your screen, backfield with an eye over formation. Oh, nope, single setback now. Man in motion. And the handoff inside. And getting back probably to the original line of scrimmage is Danny Mattel-Oka. No, not even to the line. So you give him about 4.5 here. It's still going to be a 2nd and 10.
A little no huddle here by Monroe.
Four wide receivers in the pattern, but the handoff goes inside. And that is Alex Rivera who takes the handoff. Rivera, the 2nd leading rusher on the Falcons team. And one thing I don't see here is the leading rusher is not even on the field here. We hadn't heard anything about Akir Franklin, but Monroe deciding to, I guess, try the wide open offense here. Quick hitch and catching it and getting the 1st down is Danny Mattel-Oka. Where was the defense on that?
Yeah, the cushion, he gave him about a 15-yard cushion when it was a 3rd and, 6 or 7. You got to be up a little more than that. You got to know where the sticks are. And Monroe's just going to take that all day if they're going to give him that big cushion.
Caroli in the shotgun. Inside handoff, tripping over his own guy is Rivera as Danny Mattel-Oka was coming across and man in motion. He trips his own guy. Well, I do see Akir Franklin on the bench. If my eyesight is good, he's in between the sticks there on the far sideline.
Yeah, tiny guy over there.
2nd down and call it 10. Caroli on the carry, keeper, bouncing around outside, breaks it outside, breaks containment, heading down that far sideline, and will be tackled out of bounds inside the 10.
And Chris, I believe that was Chris Ramos had a shot at him there. And that's tough, open field tackle, but he sort of dove at his ankles, and then another bear missed him.
Now Akir Franklin is in the game. He's in the backfield with Rivera. Akir Franklin, number 33, split to the right behind Caroli, gets the handoff, looking for some room, tries to take it outside, and the Bears defense gangs up on him and stops him for no gain. And Franklin comes out. Looks like he's hobbling a little bit or holding his arm. Maybe he banged his elbow up on that one. Second down and goal from the 5-yard line here. Rivera slips and will lose a yard, so it brings up a 3rd down and goal from the 6.
And in high school and college, the knee goes down even if you're not touched, you're down there. So he tried to get back up and run, but can't do that in high school football.
Well, the field isn't slick. We were out there before. I mean, the rain that we had earlier today is well dried, so it's not a case where the turf is slick. It's not that humid out here tonight. Caroli back to pass, dumps it off to Franklin. Franklin trying to get to the cone for marker, and is tackled down nicely. A touchdown-saving tackle by Aaron McSweeney.
Looks like the field goal unit is coming in. This, from what I hear, Monroe has a pretty good field goal kicker. Actually, the game against South Brunswick, they were down 3 inside the 3, and instead of kicking the field goal, they went for the win and got stopped against South Brunswick. But I do hear they have a pretty good field goal kicker.
Ryan Schreiber, the kicker. This will be a 21-yard attempt, and it is good. And our score, the Monroe Falcons 3. And East Brunswick, no score. This game will be rebroadcast twice on EBTV. First rebroadcast will be on Thursday, October 4th at 8 p.m. And then on the weekend of November 10th and 11th, a marathon of East Brunswick High School's fall sports schedule. This game will be aired on Sunday, the 11th at 4 p.m. And we'd like to take this time to thank the EBTV technical crew for coming out and supporting East Brunswick Athletics. Do a great job here setting up a couple hours before game time and getting these games out here on EBTV. Also, the games are available on demand when you go to the EBTV3 website and click the link for all the programming on EBTV, not just the sporting events. So go to the East Brunswick Public Library site or ebtv3.org and click the links for the video on demand.
Well, Ken, you got to say maybe a little bit of a win there for the East Brunswick defense. They were in a tough spot, 1st and goal, and were able to hold them to a field goal. So
the one big play, the keeper by Caroli, line drive kick, fielded by one of the up men, who's going to take it and break through the line here. And getting out over the 40-yard line is Matt Benton. Good field position for the Bears.
And I like what he did there. He just went north and south and got as much as he could. So good, like you said, good starting field position here for the Bears.
That ball spotted close to the 44-yard line, so it will be a 1st and 10 for the Bears. And coming out in quarterback here is Kevin Hemmings.
And Hemmings had a real nice game against North Brunswick last week. He scored a touchdown and had a number of yards rushing.
Single back in the backfield is Jason Parker. The inside handoff to Parker, straight up the gut, gets across the 45, maybe to the 47. For a gain of 3. And here's what we talked about, getting that yardage on 1st and 2nd down to keep you out of that 3rd and long, because East Brunswick does not have a developed passing game.
Yeah, if I was East Brunswick too, I'd take it, as much time in between each play too, and really take some time off this clock and keep that Monroe offense off the field.
And Hemmings on the keeper, gonna try to break it out. Gets to about midfield, just shy of midfield, so it's gonna bring up a 3rd and 5 as they're gonna spot it at the 49-yard line of the Bears. 3rd and 5 now.
And he actually had a nice read there and just sort of got hit by the fullback that he was going to give the ball to. The defensive player hit into him a little bit, and he wasn't able to gain his balance quite in time. I think he might have had that 1st down on that play, if not.
Parker, the lone setback behind Hemmings. 2 wide receivers split to the top, 1 in the slot. Long count.
Ball's on the ground.
And picked up by Monroe, number 24, C.J. Thompson. I didn't see that. Was that just a bad handoff?
It never got there. I think I just saw immediately the ball come out, so I don't know if Hemmings was pulling it and then lost control. I don't think Parker ever got that on his belly though. That ball came out right away.
And the first Bears series ends in a turnover and puts Monroe on the positive side of the field here. 1st and 10, ball on the 42-yard line as Thompson was able to return it about 7 yards. Caroli drops the ball, ball's on the ground. Still on the ground. Still on the ground, hot potato.
couple Bears should have had it. We'll see what happens
I think that's
here.
a case of trying to pick it up and run.
And there is a flag on the play as well.
I think you're going to get at least a holding call or something on
The Bears have it.
for tackling the East Brunswick guy trying to get to the ball. It looked like Michael Quinton had a chance at that ball first and overran it, but on the first play for scrimmage on that drive.
Penalties declined, resulting in first down this way.
Yeah, and again, that would have been a holding call or a illegal block call or something there on Caroli, who knew he couldn't get to the ball.
Tell you, weird what Monroe's doing with, supposedly their best player, Kier Franken. He doesn't play in the beginning. They bring him in for a play, and, he wasn't out there that second series. So,
well, it looked like after that first run, he was holding his elbow rather gingerly.
Right.
3 wide receivers to the bottom of your screen. Lone setback Parker behind Hemmings. That time the handoff is clean. Parker takes it to about the 45. Actually, they're going to call him down at the 46. Gain of 3, 2nd and 7.
Pretty good job there by the East Brunswick offensive line, getting a pretty good push there.
And Parker comes out. Coach Marcus Borden had a couple of words for him. Still drawing at him now. Matt Betton joins the backfield as the lone setback. East Brunswick going away from their pattern of the full house backfield. 3 wide receivers again, split to the bottom of the screen. Keeping it as Hemmings. Hemmings trying to get it outside, breaking it over the 40. I don't think he has enough for the first down, but if it marked where, they're going to call it just inside the 40. Bring up a 3rd and 1. Bears looking for their first down of this game.
Offensive line right now doing a nice job for the Bears. Let me just mention them real quick. Jared Tariff is at center. Devin Dorelli and Brian Kim are the guards, and Tom Burzak and Wes Lynch are the tackles. A lot of times they go unnoticed, but a lot of times that's where the game's won or lost on those lines.
Now Gerhardt checks in, but he's the wide receiver in the slot. Now in motion. Handoff, now fake, and a dump pass to Gerhardt. That's going to be close. That barely, I guess, made enough for the first down. We're going to have to take a look at
probably going to have to measure that.
The sticks on the far side have it a few inches inside. They're going to call for measurement.
You know what? That might have been one of those. I think it was number 10 for the Bears. Anthony Fisher was streaking. That might have been one where, Coach Borden was looking maybe to take a shot if that was there, thinking they're going to go for it regardless on 4th down. And, it's going to be close here. I think regardless, if they don't make it, they're going to go for it here.
Well, at least we know Gerhardt is okay enough to play. But I guess Coach Borden, seeing how well Hemmings played last week against North Brunswick, going to give him the shot. They're going to – oh, it is short. It is short. So Gerhardt's got knocked out of bounds or stepped on the end line there, short of the first down. So that play essentially goes for no gain.
Yeah, with EBTV, with the great job of the cameras, we should have a challenge. See where his foot came out.
Well, I have to say, it's kind of hard for us to see it because of the players sitting on the bench here. We're not that high up. And the players are close to that white safety zone on the sideline. All right, 4th down and inches here for the Bears.
This is one of those where I just like the QB sneak. I mean, you don't want to give the defense time to penetrate and just take it and go here.
Unfortunately, if you're the defense, you're just firing out on all cylinders. East Brunswick has not been able to control the line, and you're right. That was a quick count. And Hemmings saw the left guard saw a hole in the D-line there and manages to pick up the first down.
No, you see Tom Brady with the Patriots do that a lot. Not necessarily on these type of 4th downs, but even if he sees the defense, there's a hole there, he'll just tap on his center and go and a lot of times get some decent yardage.
Betton is in the backfield. Gerhardt's is in a slot to the bottom of the screen. Ramos to the top. Gerhardt's in motion. Hemmings dropping back, has a man wide open. Fisher has it and is tackled at the 12-yard line. That was the play. You were mentioning it. That might have been a look that they gave them a little bit of taste to see whether or not they could probe that downfield on that pass to Gerhardt's.
Yeah, and Fisher did a nice job. That ball was, well thrown, not great. He waited, make sure he caught it, didn't run before he caught it, and East Brunswick is in nice territory. And you know what? Monroe's a little off balance here. East Brunswick's moving the ball running. Now they show that, so they're a little off balance right now, Monroe.
Full house backfield behind Hemmings as the Bears now just outside the 10-yard line to the 12. Ramos takes it inside to the 10, maybe to the 9. Seen a lot more, I guess, direct kind of action in the middle of the line rather than those slow developing pitches and misdirection plays. And
yeah, they're going right at him, exactly.
Gain of 3 on the play, a 2nd and 7. Ball spotted just inside the 10-yard line. Bears have to get to about the 2.5. Hemmings has Fisher to the top of the screen. He's going to keep it, look for the pitch. Instead, he's going to take it himself and is going to get down probably inside the 2. So we have probably a first down. Did not get to the end zone.
Yeah, you're right. That should be a first down, and good decision there not to pitch it.
And that is a first down for the Bears, who are knocking on the door with 3:17 left to go in the first quarter.
And all this time, East Brunswick got the ball. I'd say, I don't know exactly what the time was, but maybe 8 minutes and change. And, it's going to be under 3 minutes with the clock. So this is exactly what they want to do.
Full house backfield behind Hemmings. First and goal. Looked like a little motion. Yeah, it looked like movement. And I don't know if it was a
left guard on
defensive,
East Brunswick.
But you saw Monroe.
Start. Offense, 5 yards, still first and goal.
He saw a defense creeping up, and I guess a little bit of jitters there, as you said, the left guard.
Yeah, sometimes you want to get off the ball so quickly there and get a push that sometimes you just, jump the snap count just a tiny bit, and that hurts.
First down and goal now from the 7.5, 8-yard line. 7.5-yard line. 8. Inside handoff, that didn't go anywhere. Matt Betton maybe got back to the 5. Bring up 2nd and goal from the 5.
I'd like something out here. You have the ball on the left hash here. Something coming to the wide side of the field maybe, like they had before, where Hemmings, keeps it and has that option for the pitch just to spread out the defense a little bit.
Officials timeout.
Just want to mention one thing too while we have the time. St. Bart's Buffalo cheerleaders, they're not out here now, but I know the different levels of cheer for St. Bart's are going to be here performing with the East Brunswick High School cheerleaders. So
yeah, right now they're across the way over to entertain the Monroe Township fans who are here. 2nd and goal from the 5. 2nd and goal. Hemmings calling out, looking for a little guidance, perhaps calling an audible or checking down. Hemmings keeps it, gets inside, perhaps to the 3, maybe the 2. Tough yardage here for the Bears. That ball looks like it is just outside the 2. So we'll call it 3. 3rd and goal from the 3. Kind of an in-between range here. Can't just simply go with a quarterback sneak and pick up that kind of yardage. And Monroe Township snuffs that for a loss. So with a loss of a yard or so on the play, Coach Borden decides to bring in the field goal unit.
And that's a tough run there for Ramos, through the middle. He's a better guy where you get it, pitch it to him a little bit.
Why don't you go 4 wide and have Hemmings take it up the middle? If you split the defense out, spread the defense out, you open up. But everybody knows they're going right in the middle. Everybody knows we're going to go right up the gut, and now we're going to have a field goal attempt. Boyko's going to come on and attempt it out of the hold of Chris Ramos. Ball will be spotted just inside, call it the 9-yard line, so it's a 19-yard field goal. And it is no good.
It's tough to see up here. I guess that missed right.
It looks like it missed right, yeah. A little bit of an angle. And the ball will be spotted on the 20-yard line.
Well, that lets the air out a little bit, but you know what? If you look at the positives there, East Brunswick was able to drive down. They took basically 8 minutes off the clock. There's 17 seconds left here in the first quarter, and they, flipped the field position here. So you got to be positive. They're moving the ball here. Just got to.
Now we're in a field position game. Now
exactly.
You want to hold the Falcons down here, and keep.
Looks like some confusion on both sides here with players arriving late.
Caroli. Inside handoff. And that's Rivera, who will get it out to the 25. Picks up 5 yards on the first down. And that'll be our last play of the first quarter.
Looked like number 64, Wesley Lynch, on the tackle.
And our score at the end of the first quarter is the Monroe Township High School Falcons 3, and your East Brunswick Bears, no score. The rules, that field goal coming out there, because the field goal was within the 20, the ball was spotted on the 9-yard line, it comes out to the 20. If it was beyond, I think they mark it.
Yes,
at the spot.
Yeah, because I remember that happening unless they've changed. I know they change the rules often, but you might be right. Just that last field goal that we have, we're trying to talk and figure out why he came out to 20. That might be a rule. If it's inside there, it automatically comes out to there.
And if it's missed outside the 20, it's the spot of the. Because you think about that. If you're lining up for a field goal where the spot's the 35, it's a 52-yarder.
Right.
Well, if you miss it and they don't run it out, ball's on the 20.
Right.
So it
right.
will give you a field position. So that's kind of a disincentive for taking cheap shot field goals if you really, instead of playing or punting or kicking. Okay, as we switch sides here, Monroe is going to be operating left to right on your screen. Caroli with Rivera, and again, Akira Franklin not in the game. Penalty marker on the play.
Dead ball foul, and on the defense, lining up in the neutral zone. 5 yards, first down.
All right, that penalty on the Bears for lining up in the neutral zone. I still like the Canadian rule on that, where there's a 1-yard buffer.
Right.
So you know where the neutral zone is, because it's hard, because you look at the center. The center is right over the ball. The O linemen are not right up there with him. They're kind of recessed back a little bit.
Right.
The result of that penalty is a first down, so the Falcons now have the ball in the 30-yard line. Inside handoff, and there goes Rivera right through the secondary, and is met by Chris Ramos at the 45, so a pickup of 15+ on that play. He got through that first line and then into the secondary so quickly.
Yeah, too big of a hole there. Good hit there by Ramos, but, after 20 yards.
Franklin and Rivera, Franklin and Franklin and Rivera in. Franklin's going to get the handoff here, trying to break it to the outside. Met by Jason Parker, who wraps him up just shy of midfield. Gain of 4.
Parker did a good job. Looked like he came from the opposite side there to get him.
Again, very quick setup here offensively. 2 wide receivers to the top of the screen for the Falcons, 1 below. Back split. Now in motion, Rivera. Caroli is on the keeper. He's going to bring it across midfield to the Bears 46. That'll bring up a 3rd and 1.
And one thing, too, to keep in mind here, East Brunswick, Monroe's only run the ball so far, but this quarterback for Monroe has about 400 yards passing, so you can't fall asleep.
Hand off to Franklin. And he's going to get stuffed behind the line of scrimmage or at the line of scrimmage. That'll bring up a decision here for the Monroe coach. If they're going to go for it, and it looks like they're going to keep the offense on the field.
Joe had a good penetration there to get in the backfield.
4th and 1. And it looks like we're going to maybe get a timeout. Or
yeah, it looked like maybe they were trying to draw him, but now he's seeing where the defense is.
And we don't have a time clock here with the play clock, so we don't know when that's going to expire. And Rivera manages to bring it outside, gets into the secondary, breaks through, heading for the corner. Is going to be brought down maybe at the 1, but Rivera managed to bust through. And again, the quickness of Rivera getting into that secondary. Bears were expecting a short yardage play, and once they penetrate it right through, Rivera picks up 45 yards on that particular run. Rivera's second on the team in rushing coming into this game. First and goal, ball just outside the 1 yard line. Caroli hands it off to Rivera. Rivera's going to lean over and gets the touchdown. Call it officially 2 yards on the touchdown run. And Monroe Township High School Falcons will line up for the extra point. And the kick is good. With our score, 9:41 remaining in the second quarter. Monroe's 10, and the Bears no score. Upcoming games in the Bears schedule, Bears will be in action again in 2 weeks. They're going to have a week off. In 2 weeks, they will play at Manalapan and then at J.P. Stevens. So 2 more weeks on the road, and then coming home for homecoming on the 26th versus Edison here at J. Doyle Field.
And East Brunswick not playing bad tonight. I mean, they drove it inside to about the 3. They had that penalty, that false start that kind of put them back a little bit and missed that field goal. And then, you know, had a shot right there to stop Monroe on 4th down, and a big run by number 6 for Monroe, Alex Rivera.
Ryan Schreiber will kick off on Monroe. Parker, looks like Parker Gerhardt and Parker Hemmings, no, Parker Ramos, and I can't see on the far sideline. Lee Urschel maybe, that's on the far side. We're back deep for the Bears. End over end, high kick heading back to Ramos, who's going to let it bounce into the end zone for a touchback.
That's another high school rule there. If the ball does get in the end zone on a kickoff, it automatically comes out to the 20. Can't return it. So that's the advantage of having a kicker that can do that. You see in the NFL now with where they have the ball, that's basically, you know, you don't really see too many kickoffs returned anymore because all the kickers are booming it either into or out of the end zone.
Hemmings. With Matt Betton in the backfield in motion. Gerhardt. Hemmings with the keeper, leans forward and maybe gets a yard.
And the room for error for East Brunswick is not big in terms of things that they do offensively. They're not going to break off those long runs. Just looking at the yards they have through 3 games, they have to do it in short bursts, so they really can't be going backwards or not gaining, you know, a yard or 2 on a down. So they don't have a lot of room for error. They really got to execute.
Hemmings on the keeper again, cuts it back inside. Maybe not the wisest choice. If we would have kept pursuing it outside, maybe he picks up more, but Hemmings will pick up 2. And here we are in a 3rd and 7, where you don't have a good passing game, and your running game generates perhaps 3-4 yards, maybe a clip. Benton is in the backfield. Fisher split out to the bottom of your screen. Gerhardt's in a slot with Ramos in the other slot. Got a penalty flag here, but fingers being pointed
that's
here.
Close.
That's close to whether or not the defender came across and caused.
Encroachment on the defense, 5 yards, still third down.
So if the defender comes into the neutral zone and causes the offensive player to rise up, that's a defensive penalty.
Correct.
Now it changes a little bit of the dynamic. Now you've got third and a long 3, or a short 3, I should say, long 2, short 3. As the ball is just over the 27-yard line, the Bears have to get to the 30. Gerhardt's and Benton are in the backfield. Again, notice absence of Jason Parker. Pitch to Gerhardt's, gets some blocking. It gets across the 30. A flag, though, late. I have to wait and see what that was. I did not see a hold initially, but the back judge threw a flag late.
Look, maybe like a clip.
Here. 27.
Looks like
It could have been a first. We're going to.
now we're going to wait and see what the mark-off is.
The back offensive team, 10 yards from the end of the run, from the spot, 10 yards, still third down.
So a spot foul there, and you know what disappointing about that, I think when Ramos hit him, the play was already done, so it was sort of right at the tail end where it didn't really make a difference. You got to be smarter than that.
Third down and now 10. A little bit of trickeration here as double handoff or reverse there, and Gerhardt's gets to the 25, and that's about it.
Number 32 for Monroe there, Paul Acklon wasn't fooled on that. He stayed home.
Now the East Brunswick punt team comes on, and we had some adventures in punting in the first game that we covered. Chris Jones will back there. Akir Franklin and Danny Mattel-Oka are your 2 deep backs. Ball bounces, but Jones gets off an end-over-ender. That's going to take a nice hop and stay inbounds until about the 35-yard line. So a nice 40-yard punt, no return, no net yard, 40 yards net on that particular punt for Jones. And Bears again going to have to play some defense here.
Just want to mention, I told one of my students, I think she might be out there. She's one of the St. Bart's cheerleaders, Danielle Tropiano. I believe she's out there. I told her that I mentioned her on the broadcast. She told me she was going to be cheering today with the East Brunswick cheerleaders. Sure.
Caroli. Inside handoff to Franklin. Tries to cut it outside and tackled behind the line of scrimmage there by Matt Benton. Franklin does not look like he has for all the build-up, for all the yards coming in. He's averaging 160 yards almost, or about 160 yards a game. Franklin right now probably 2 carries, 3 carries for about maybe 2-3 yards total.
Yeah, Matt Benton, great, like you said, great play there, getting in the backfield.
2 wide receivers split to the bottom, second down and 11. Caroli on the keeper, met at the line of scrimmage and brought down. And Franklin is hurt. Now looks like Akir Franklin is on the ground with an ankle or a calf muscle problem. And he's going to take himself, he's going to try to get himself back to the huddle.
I'm a little surprised with Monroe not throwing the ball for, having 400 yards passing just to mix it up. East Brunswick's doing a pretty good job against the run, except for a couple plays.
And the coach pulls Franklin off as he's hobbling. Thought he could shake it off in that. A little bit of confusion now as Caroli will be back in the shotgun. Third down and a long 10, call it 11. Pressure and dropped for a loss. Michael Quinton with the sack. And again, great defense here by the Bears to push the Falcons back. Ball spotted on the 25, so negative 10 yards on that possession for the Falcons. And They'll bring up a 4th down. Schreiber is coming in to punt. Ramos and Parker and Benton are deep. Schreiber has to haul in the errant punt. Or errant. Wow, got a good bounce. And that punt's going to be about, well, 25 and 25, 27, 52 yards with no return. So a net 52 on that. So
yeah, Coach Borden's talking to Jason Parker there, not happy that that ball wasn't picked up. Probably rolled an extra, 20 yards at least.
Well, you have to get that one in the air.
Yeah.
But that's a wobbly kick. If you're running and run up and try to catch it and run with it, you're probably going to give it right back.
Yeah.
So it's an idea of seeing the ball and getting there quickly enough.
It's easier said than done. I remember my sophomore year, I was returning punts, and I ended up losing the game to Woodbridge, who went on and made the states and stuff. But I kind of came up in a situation and dropped it. We lost the game, so it's not easy.
2 wide receivers split to the bottom. Gerhardt's in the slot. Hemmings behind center. Ball on the 22-yard line. Inside handoff to Matt Benton. Benton breaks 1 line, breaks 2. We got a penalty flag. That's going to be a face mask.
Definitely, yeah. That'll tack on an extra 15 from the end of the run there. So they're going to have it in Monroe territory now.
Personal foul, face mask on a defensive team. 15 yards tacked on to the end of the run.
So now the Bears will have the ball inside Monroe territory. Ball on the 45 now.
Matt Benton doing a good job breaking a couple tackles there.
And again, the formation with the wide receiver split down to the bottom of the screen opens up a little bit of a running room there in the gaps between the defenders as opposed to crowding everybody up. Now you got, look, you got 7, 8 guys in the box here, and the ball's put on the ground, and Hemmings is going to have to make that out of a busted play, and does a good job after picking the ball off the ground and getting 4 yards.
And it's just nature if you're a defensive player. And, East Brunswick, I think, has attempted to throw the ball twice where you just kind of creep up. I know, when I played as well, that, you kind of don't respect that passing game, unless someone's out there.
When was the last time we had an arm back there? Was it Ryan Cosentino? Does it have to go back that far?
Yeah, for maybe for a true thrower, right? Haven't had one in a while.
Hemmings looking, going to have to is flushed out of the pocket and is going to be tackled for a loss. They're going to mark forward progress down. That's a rather generous forward progress mark, or shall we say backward forward progress mark, because he got wrapped up and twisted around. And we have a timeout now on the field. Timeout. This is going to be a timeout by Monroe with 3:19 left to go in the second quarter. It'd be nice for the Bears to get down there and get something with 3:19 left and get off that 0.
Yeah, exactly. They really, deserved it on that drive that they got down inside the 10-yard line. And, the missed field goal, obviously didn't put any points on the board here.
And now with again, we're looking at 3:19 left in this second quarter. Bears 3rd down and 11 it looks like here. So are you considering 4-down territory, or it depends on how much time's left on the clock, I guess. But
yeah, I mean, you could see that Coach Borden wanted to be aggressive from the start. He onside kicked the ball first possession without seeing how the game played out.
Well, here's another reason why it's important to score now. We get the ball back in the beginning of the second half.
Exactly.
Put 2 scores together, and who knows, maybe it's 10-10 with a few minutes gone in the third quarter.
Yeah, just makes you feel better having some points going into the locker room.
3 wide receivers up to the top of your screen. Matt Benton behind. Inside handoff to Benton. No go there. As again, that might be the case there where you don't have the kind of respect for the passing game, so you crowd up and cheat a little bit toward that interior.
And I like, Coach Borden and the staff, they obviously want to take time off the clock on offense, but, maybe 1 or 2 times on like a first down or a second down when they're not expecting the throw to do that might be a good idea. But their game plan so far has been great. They're keeping Monroe off the field, keeping drives alive. This would be a big 4th down conversion if they could get it here.
Benton, lone setback. Ramos in a slot. Fisher, wide out split. Hemmings back to pass, looking downfield, throws it up, and it is picked off. Picked off as Hemmings had a guy in the seam in the middle there, but overthrew. And picking it off for Monroe is Sean Sowinski.
You know what he had there too? Still, we would have to see if he could get it. He did have Gerhardt's in the flat there, and I think Gerhardt's would probably have to make one guy miss there in the open field to get the 1st down, but that was another option he had as well if he didn't like that.
So turning it over now, the ball is on the 41-yard line, and Monroe has 2:27 left. Bears need a good defensive set here. A stop. Saroka in motion. Inside handoff, Rivera trying to break it to the outside. Does. Gets around contained. Fumbles, but fumbles it out of bounds.
And just what you said there, Ken, outside contain. East Brunswick didn't do a good job there on the end of forcing him to cut it up inside. And from a couple runs already, Alex Rivera, if he does get that little space, he has some good speed. So if you're that end on East Brunswick, you got to make sure that they have to cut it back up. You don't want them to get outside your defense.
Saroka in motion. Caroli hands off to Rivera. This time wrapped up behind the line as penetration there for the Bears. Joe Chetta was able to break through and get a hand and wrap up.
He's done that a couple times today, Joe Chetta, getting in the backfield.
And better tackling than we've seen in the first game, wrapping up.
Definitely, and just the energy level is much better. So,
2nd down and 11 here as Monroe, with 1:52 left, goes 2 wide outs to each side, man in motion. The inside handoff, Rivera stopped at the line, behind the line, loss on the play. I'm the Monroe coach here. I'm going to take a timeout and think this through, because you've got 1:35 left. You need to gain 13, 14 yards here, perhaps on 2 plays. Some substitutions on defense here for the Bears. We go with more of a nickel package as Gerhardt comes in, replacing Chetta. Again, 2 wideouts split to the bottom, 1 to the top, 1 in the slot, 2 backs. In motion is Franklin. Screen pass to Rivera. And good coverage there to limit that to about a 7-yard gain. It'll bring up a 4th and 5, less than a minute now. And I don't know why the Monroe coach isn't calling a timeout here, because the time is fleeting here, and unless you're going to go for it in a big way, you've got maybe 1, 2 plays. Caroli dropping back, looking, fires incomplete as he tried to hit on the outside. Dan Greger throwing across the field.
And he had him there. That was just a poor throw. So East Brunswick here has, you have the ball in decent field position here.
And with your full complement of timeouts.
Yeah, you can run a couple plays and see if you get some yards, and like you said, maybe call a timeout if you have some positive plays here.
Hemmings. Ramos breaks it around the outside, gets downfield, and is pushed out of bounds at the 30.
A nice play design there. We saw that one time earlier, sort of like that double reverse, but where you give the guy the reverse to the inside. And East Brunswick is in good shape here. If I'm East Brunswick, I'd take a timeout here, though, maybe.
Well, the clock stops, not just because of the first down, but because he ran out of bounds.
That's right.
Bears probably need to get at least 10, 15 to attempt a field goal here. Hemmings looking to break it to the outside is going to just throw it away.
Good job there by Hemmings. Heads up. You can't take a sack in that situation. Got outside the pocket and threw it away.
He was looking for Fisher down the sideline running a corner route, and good coverage by Danny Mattel-Oka to keep Hemmings from launching that one.
I know East Brunswick did this the first time we saw him. If you're going to throw the ball here, I'd like Hemmings in shotgun to start. He's already back there. He doesn't have to worry about dropping back, and he can sort of survey the field a little bit better. Plus, he's a little bit tinier there, just to kind of see everything ahead of him a little easier, if that's what you're going to do.
2 wide receivers and the slot man to the bottom of your screen. Hemmings rolling left, looking, firing, throwing it behind Gerhardt's, but there is a penalty flag.
Holding here.
Second down.
Looked like maybe the center there for East Brunswick had a pretty good hold right in front of Bill Young.
That play took about 5 seconds off the clock, so we're down to 12 seconds. And the march off 10 yards will put, for all practical purposes,
Holding
out of any kind of
team, 10 yards from the spot. Still second down.
Any kind of thought of a field goal, because you're going to have to get this all in one chunk with 12, because you figure any kind of pass play that's going to go into the end zone is going to take 10, 12, 15 seconds. So unless you're going to throw a quick out and get the guy out of bounds and then maybe set up for something a little less strenuous than a 43-yard completion. Full house backfield. It looks like we're going to see, back to pass. Escapes the rush. And pulled down by the jersey is Hemmings.
Well, really get the fake the handoff there.
And that's the end of the first half with the score, Monroe 10, East Brunswick nothing. We'll be back with a presentation with the cheerleaders in just a couple of moments, so stay tuned.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for East Brunswick High School cheerleading.
And here are the East Brunswick varsity cheerleading squad at halftime.
Brunswick Bear Marching Band in the show, Cast Time.
over. And here's the pitch. And it's a single to left field. East Brunswick takes the lead. We're at the end of the third inning, and it's time for our Lucky Fan Dizzy Bat Race. Today's contestants are in Section C. Seats 4 and 5. Come on down to home plate. And it looks like today's winner is Phil. Ladies and gentlemen, direct your attention to home plate as our Grizzly Bear ground crew comes out for your entertainment. Joining them today is the Kodiak Drumline. Give it up for them, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for the 7th inning stretch. Please welcome the East Brunswick Band with their rendition of God Bless America. beginning of the end as the bottom of the ninth approaches. The Bears are down by 3 runs, but knowing the Bears and their comeback capability, it's still anyone's game. The bases are now loaded, and the star hitter is at the plate. If a grand slam is hit, it's the game for the Bears. Strike 1. Strike 2. And here's the pitch that can finish the game. And it's going. It's going. It's gone. Ladies and gentlemen, it's all over. Grand slam, the Bears win.
And we are back awaiting the kickoff here for the second half. With the score, Monroe Falcons 10, East Brunswick Bears 0. I'm Ken Saroka along with Richie Whalen. And Richie, a much better first half than what we saw 3 weeks ago. However, the Bears just can't seem to cash in.
Yeah, it's one of those things you come to the game and haven't watched any, you say, down 10-0, but really, for the way East Brunswick played, I mean, you could argue that, they almost deserved the lead, but, the way sports work, it doesn't really matter what you've done. The score is what matters, and right now East Brunswick's down 10-0. However, they are getting the ball here to start, so see if they can get some positive things going to start this half.
Because Ramos back deep along with Lee Rochelle and Jason Parker awaiting the kick from Schreiber. Schreiber booms it. Ramos backing up and inside in the end zone here will take a knee, and the Bears will take over. 1st and 10 from the 20. Bears had a chance late in the first half to put some points on the board, but through an interception and a penalty and just did not execute as well as they could. Had a chance again very, very late as good defense stopped Monroe, but could not get that kind of quick strike offense, and that's one thing the Bears just don't have, a quick strike capability.
Yeah, we don't have the stats for it, but I'm sure if you looked at the time of possession, East Brunswick is dominating that.
Hemmings pulls it back, looking at the keeper, will get maybe back to the line of scrimmage. They're going to mark him short of the line of scrimmage. Again, those plays that are long to develop don't seem to be working. It seems the quick hitters up the middle, the quick handoffs, keepers,
Yeah, and I think overall, at least compared to the first game against South Brunswick, the East Brunswick offensive line, especially on those plays that happen right away, are doing a much better job of getting off the ball and then giving the backs a little bit of space.
2nd down and 11. Hemmings will try to get outside, break contain, but Danny Oka is there to trip him up. Gets across the original line of scrimmage, gains an additional 3 yards. So we'll call it 3rd down and 7 here for the Bears.
And overall so far, at least in the first half, East Brunswick has done a decent job of giving themselves, for the most part, reasonable 3rd down opportunities, and especially in a couple of their drives have been able to convert. So this is, one of those 3rd and 6, not too bad. Obviously, like a little shorter if you could.
Ramos in motion. Hemmings rolling, looking, finds his man, Gerhartz, and we've seen a lot more John Gerhartz in the backfield lining up as a back. Jason Parker got yanked out and yelled at by Coach Borden for something he did and has not seen much time on the offensive side. Gerhartz has replaced and Parker's playing on the defensive side. So 1st down for the Bears as Gerhartz was banged out of bounds on a good hit there at the 32. So 1st and 10 for the Bears on this opening drive of the second half. Glad you could tune in to EBTV and our coverage of East Brunswick High School athletics. The inside handoff stuffed up. And that play works only when there seems to be more of a spread formation. We talked about that during the first half.
Yeah, and it, like you said, it's a number game in terms of, you know, you have 4 guys out. You at least need 4 guys that are out with them, so that just opens up the middle a little bit.
Second down, 8, gain of 2 on that handoff. Gerhardt's reaching back and yelling something at Betten. A little bit of confusion perhaps there. And obvious false start penalty there. Again, the Bears shooting themselves in the foot with the penalty. We had that push in the back on Ramos after the first down was completed.
Yeah, I think a big one too, when they had 1st and goal from the 3, where the offensive line moved and put them, you know, back to 1st and goal from about the 8, where they had that missed field goal. So, you know, no teams can really overcome a lot of penalties, but especially a team where you rely on 3, 4, 5 yards at a clip. When you lose those 5, that really magnifies itself.
Gerhardt's in motion. Betten with the inside handoff goes nowhere. Gets maybe a yard. It'll bring up a 3rd down and 11.
And if not for that penalty, you know, it would be 3rd and 5-ish, 3rd and 6. So.
Bears converted on a log 3rd down to keep this drive alive. Let's see if they can do it again. Hemmings rolling, looking downfield, looking, has Ramos, but underthrows Ramos, and Ramos has to be the defender there, knock the ball out of the hands of C.J. Thompson. Ramos had the steps.
He had at least a couple steps on him, like you said, and Coach Borden was sort of.
But that's a hard throw, throwing across your body, running left, throwing, and having to put that on the outside shoulder so that only Chris could catch that.
Yeah, it's not. You're right. It's going that way. It's not an easy throw. I know Coach Warren was telling him to get a little more air under it, and I think he was trying to do that. But like you said, that's not an easy throw.
Number 30, Chris Jones, back to punt. His first punt was a good one in that it bounced and found some open space and was about a 45-yard net. Picks it cleanly. Akir Franklin comes up, drops it, but manages to pick it up off the turf. And Franklin, who has been limited in his offensive touches, came out of the game late in the first half with an ankle or a calf injury. Having trouble coming up with that one, looks like. But East Brunswick Bears not able to recover the muff pump, and Monroe will start 1st and 10 at the 40.
Yeah, you're right. It's Akir Franklin. I mean, for him having about 500 yards rushing, and what I heard from a couple people coming here, he's having a rough day.
Well, he's back there now with Rivera behind Caroli. Rivera's been much more effective, especially when he breaks at the outside. Man in motion. Caroli drops back the pass, looks out of the backfield for Franklin. Franklin has it, tries to get to the 1st down sticks, and is driven out of bounds, probably just shy by a yard. Franklin does not look like he's hobbled by, maybe that was just a cramp or something he picked up in that first half.
That's a nice play call, too, on 1st down. Just give it to one of your better backs in space and let him make a play.
Man in motion. Caroli from the shotgun. Going to hand off inside to Franklin. Franklin will bust it through and get the 1st down and more as he enters Bears territory and is dropped at the 44-yard line.
Good stop there by Chris Ramos, who leads the Bears in tackles coming into this game with 25.
And that's something you don't want to see. You don't want to see your secondary leading in somebody in your secondary leading in tackles. Franklin now goes in motion, but the handoff goes inside to Rivera. Again, breaks containment and falls forward across the 35 to the 33 and picks up a first down.
And other than a couple plays by South Brunswick and Rivera, this is the first really pretty solid, although beat only about 30 yards. They look like Monroe finally has a little bit of a rhythm here on offense.
Handoff to Franklin. Again, inside. This time, Franklin's finding his way through, picks up 5. Crowley has operated all night from the shotgun. Man in motion is Saroka. Franklin again with the handoff. Breaks it through, gets through 2 men, still on his feet, and has to be driven down by Jason Parker inside the 10-yard line. Picks up about 20 on one play.
Looked like East Brunswick there brought a couple people, and they were just kind of coming on the other side, and Franklin was going the other way, so they sent some people there.
First and goal for the Falcons. Franklin trying to break it outside. Breaks one tackle, breaks another tackle, and is forceful enough to get to about the 5 or 6. They're going to mark him out maybe at the 7. Okay, stepped out at the 7.
I give some credit here to Monroe backs for breaking some tackles, but East Brunswick definitely not as crisp as they were in the first half with tackling. They're missing some tackles that they didn't miss in the first half.
Second and goal. Caroli behind, or in the shotgun, man in motion again. Inside handoff. Franklin bowls his way forward to about the 2. We'll bring up a 3rd and goal. And if you're East Brunswick, you have to at least settle for the field goal here.
Yes.
That puts you 2 scores down. More of a jumbo package coming in now for the Falcons. As they bring in extra blocking type backs and extra offensive linemen here. Going right up the gut, Rivera, and brought down for no gain by Joe Chetta. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Joe Chetta.
Yep. And he's had a few tackles for loss. He's doing a nice job of getting some penetration, and looks like the field goal kicker is coming out. Looks to be about a 20-yarder.
And he had a 21-yarder in the first quarter, so certainly it's well within his range. Just looks like on a little bit toward that left hash mark. The spot, the hole. And the kick is good. So with 5:09 left to go in the third quarter, Monroe goes up 13-0 over the Bears. This game is going to be rebroadcast on EBTV twice. The first time is on Thursday, October 4th at 8 p.m. And then will be rebroadcast as part of a marathon of East Brunswick High School Fall Athletics on Sunday, November 11th at 4 p.m. And we'd like to, again, thank the EBTV technical crew for all the great work they do in supporting East Brunswick High School athletics. Now you can go on the Public Library's website, ebpl.org or ebtv3.org, and click on the video on demand and see all the great programming from EBTV, not just the athletics programs, but certainly if you wish to, you can check out these games online. The wonders of streaming media.
Yeah, it's great. It's really convenient.
Urshel, Gerhardt, and Parker now, the 3 deep backs for the Bears.
Well, the one positive there, East Brunswick was able to kind of, once Monroe drove down inside the 10-yard line, they were able to stop them and hold them to a field goal.
Schreiber booms it deep, and this time Gerhardt's with the return from the 4. Coming up this close sideline, looking to break through. Manages to get across the 25 and is dropped at the 27-yard line, where the Bears will take over 1st and 10. call it the 20, almost just shy of the 28-yard line. So a nice return of 24 yards for Gerhardt's. And Kevin Hemmings is going to come out and try to, again, bring the Bears down for that score. Get off that 0 here at J. Doyle.
Yeah, they'll probably run it up the middle, but this might be a first down if you have a play that you want to run that you haven't shown you might do right here.
Hemmings dropped back, is pursued, and is brought down, wrestled down for a sack there. Anthony Giudice with his second sack and a loss of 3 on the play.
I like the idea there of maybe trying to pass to surprise them, but the Monroe defense was able to get there pretty quickly before he had time to really look down the field. So that's the one thing you need to do if you do want to pass the ball. You need the time to look down the field.
Hemmings pitches on the ground, and a ball is loose. Picked up on 2 hops, and going in for a score is C.J. Thompson. Gerhardt's could not get to that pitch, and Thompson picked it up cleanly off the bounce and goes in for the score.
And that's actually his second fumble recovery. Earlier in the game, he also had one, so this time he's able to scoop it up and return it for a TD.
Third Bears turnover, 4th if you include the turnover on downs. In this game, Monroe's only committed 1 turnover, and certainly with that kind of margin, not going to expect a lot of victories, being down 3 on the turnover chart.
And I'm sure Kevin Hemmings would be the first to tell you not a good decision there. He's going down, and as you're getting pulled, you try to make that pitch. You don't know where the ball's going on that one. So that's one after just taking a sack. I know it's frustrating. You don't want to have another loss, but you want to keep the ball.
And Schreiber converts the extra point as Falcons go up 20-0. 10 quick points in the first 7 minutes, 48 seconds for the Falcons. And the Bears once again find themselves in a difficult position. We don't know if the Bears cheerleaders are doing anything special for touchdowns because we haven't actually seen one. And with we'd like to be able to show you the St. Bart's cheerleaders are here. All levels of the St. Bart's cheering program. They're teamed up with our East Brunswick High School varsity cheerleaders. So it'd be nice to see some kind of special touchdown-related celebration, but unfortunately, hasn't happened. Now our next home game here is on the 26th against Edison. Two weeks off before the next game. For the Bears, it's at Manalapan, and then at JP Stevens. So on the 12th at Manalapan, at the 19th against JP, at JP, and then home for Edison on the 26th, and that will be our homecoming game, followed by a home game against Piscataway here. And the Battle of Route 18, I believe that Piscataway game is a home game. Route 18 is away this year at Old Bridge for Thanksgiving. Parker's going to pick it up at the 9. Building ahead of steam, looking for some blocking here. Gets tripped up at the 25-yard line, so 16-yard return. Bears will operate 1st and 10 from the 25.
And I know our last broadcast I was saying I was interested in that Sayreville-Old Bridge score where Sayreville beat them 35-0, but I guess it was closer than it showed, and then they came out the next week and Old Bridge had a big win against Piscataway. So, Old Bridge, like I thought, would be, much improved.
Well, the odds-on favorites in the red division were Sayreville and South Brunswick, so that doesn't surprise. And then everyone else seems to be, at least the second tier, seem to be beating each other up. Inside handoff. And a little bit of somehow a penalty there on the play. I don't know for what kind of extracurricular activity went on there. We'll listen to the referee's call for that. The initial gain was about 3 yards.
Dead ball, personal foul, defense, 15 yards from the end of the run. First down.
And that helps. certainly, you know, the Bears have been beneficiaries of a couple of those penalty calls that have given them first downs, especially on a big play. And I remember Matt Benton's run, he got pulled down by the face mask and gave an extra 15 yards, which was really a nice boost there.
Monroe coach has given an earful to the refs, so I didn't see what happened, but you know, maybe worry about what if your player did do something, worry about that instead of yelling at the refs.
Inside handoff to Ramos, gets it over the 45 to the 47-yard line.
That's one of those things too, you know, I don't know what happened, and it looks like more stuff's going on here. Another flag after the play. Looked like number 64 with Monroe threw a punch, and he might be getting thrown out of the game here.
Red ball, personal foul, defense, 15 yards.
Yeah, I saw that one too. I don't know if it was a retaliation, but he kind of threw a shove, almost a punch at an East Brunswick guy there. So
30 yards additional and penalties here. Push the ball to inside the 40. Ball's on the 39. And this gift here, it's gift wrapped here. It's time to take advantage and open up the gift and cash it in.
If I'm the Monroe coach, I maybe even call a timeout to talk to my players. This is the last thing you want to do up 20-0.
Well, an inside handoff. No penalty flag, at least not right now. Gain of about 1, maybe 2. Call it 1. Second down and 9. Full house backfield behind Hemmings. The pitch to Ramos. Tries to go around the outside, and coming across from the linebacker position there, jumping across and stuffing it is number 58, Elijah Davis, and Davis was moving. And that only went for about 2 yards. And I guess you're in 2-down territory here.
I think
no point in punting.
No, exactly. And just with the time left down, 3 scores, there's only 2 minutes left in this third quarter, so.
Gerhardt's in motion, rolling, throwing on the run, and catching it is Ramos, but Ramos and flags flying, balls on the ground. One official signals that Ramos was on the ground.
I think they're going to call a clip, although I don't agree with that call. Let's see what they call.
That result was about a 6-yard gain, would be short of the first down. I thought perhaps maybe piling on.
Yeah, could be.
At the end, once the ball was out.
Face mask on the defense, 5 yards from the end of the run, results in
So a 5-yard face mask, an incidental face mask, okay. Was not as egregious as originally thought, but it does give the Bears another first down. As the third first down on this drive, aided by Monroe penalties. Ball now on the 28-yard line, and it will be 1st and 10 for the Bears. Again, full house backfield here. Fisher split out to the top of your screen. And another flag, or ball on the ground.
Ball came loose. That's why the bags were thrown there.
Yeah, the bean bags as opposed to the yellow laundry. And Monroe's signaling that they've got it, but no signal from the officials. But the way everybody is running off the play, you got 2 Monroe players struggling for the ball with 1 East Brunswick, and that will be a fumble recovery.
Well, coming into the game, East Brunswick knew, I'm sure one of the things that Coach Bourne and the staff went over was winning the turnover battle, and that has not been the case today.
That is the 4th East Brunswick turnover, 3 fumbles and an interception. Counting the turnover on downs early in the first half, that makes 5 turnovers. new quarterback in for Monroe. Direct snap, handoff, draw. Quarterbacking now is Kyle Volkman. And we don't have any stats on Volkman, so don't know anything here. 3 wide receivers split to the top of the screen, 2 at the bottom. Wide open run and shoot type offense spread here.
Watch maybe a run again by Volkman.
Yep, straight up the gut draw. And Matt Betton met him. Yeah. And Betton's going to get it, a penalty for a little extracurricular business.
I love the hit by Matt Betton. You know, that stuff after wasn't good. And he's getting escorted off the field there.
Going to be replaced on the field by Fadi Bashara. Nope, not replaced, because he can't have 2 number 45s on the field.
Personal foul, 15 yards, first down.
And can't have Joe Chetta, who wears 45, and
right.
Fadi Bashara, who also wears 45 on the field. So they had to come up with another substitute there for Matt Betton. And
Ken, I'm looking on the max prep. I do see Volkman 3 carries for 10 yards coming into this game. So looks like someone that might, you know, run the ball here a little bit. Although the Redskins thought that, I'm a Redskins fan, thought that with Mohamed Sanu, and he ends up throwing a 70-something yard touchdown to A.J. Green on the first play.
Volkman gets inside the 45 down to the 40. Bettman, who had to sit out that play, now is back into the game.
Well, they're doing kind of what you talked about, spreading East Brunswick out and then having them run the ball.
Not exactly a change in offensive pattern here. Ball sprung out, and Jason Parker was riding Volkman, and just as Volkman was going forward, stayed with him and ripped the ball out and ended up landing on his back with it. And the Bears will take over, 1st and 10.
And that's what you want to do if there's a pile and you have other guys that are holding them up, you want to rip at that ball. So
and that pile was moving forward, so the referee's not going to blow it dead until the forward prior stops. And that gave Parker enough time to get his arms in there and wrestle that ball out.
And that's what you teach. I'm sure in practice they when I play, have some different drills that you do to try to do that. That's a great example there of that.
We got a timeout on the field. Monroe timeout. And 22 seconds left to go here in the 3rd quarter.
And he might even be talking to his team. I know last drive they had, those 2 personal foul penalties, and East Brunswick had one. It's getting a little chippy out here, so I think he's just reminding his team.
Well, this game over the last maybe 4 years, going back to the 09 season, this game has become a much more intense game than any of the other traditional rivalries. I mean, the Old Bridge game it's nice, it's Thanksgiving,
right?
But usually for one team or both teams, by Thanksgiving, it's over.
Yeah.
Nobody's got anything to look forward or play for. And even in the 09 season, the Bears kind of blew off the Thanksgiving game because they had state playoff games coming up.
Or, you could say the rivalry, Old Bridge really dominates it, so it's not much of a rivalry, unfortunately, for East Brunswick side.
But this game has become, a bit more intense over those years. Betton with the handoff, breaks into the secondary, and will take it out over the 40 to the 43-yard line. Matt Betton's got probably 40 or 50 yards rushing today, and a couple of those nice long spurts. And I think that'll probably be the end of the 3rd quarter, last play, as time is winding down here. And that is the end of the third quarter. The score, Monroe 20 and East Brunswick no score. Well, like I said, we just need to get off that zero.
Yeah.
Need to get off that zero here.
Well, except for the one quarter against North Brunswick in the fourth quarter to when East Brunswick scored, there was 14 points. They've been shut out, every other game. So this will be the 16th quarter. So if they don't score in this quarter, this will be 15 out of 16 quarters without a score. So, overall, East Brunswick, I think defensively has done a decent job. They've done a good job around when South Brunswick's had the ball inside the 10, holding them to 2 field goals. The other touchdown by South Brunswick was, because of East Brunswick's offense with the fumble. So, East Brunswick's defense overall has done, I think, a pretty good job against an explosive Monroe team.
Hemmings with a full house backfield behind him will pitch it. Gerhardt's now is going to throw downfield, looking for Fisher. Right spot, just a little too far. That was the right place to throw it so that only Fisher could run under and catch it. Coverage on the play by Danny Mattel-Oka.
Probably would have liked to have a tiny bit more time to throw that. I think he maybe got rid of it a little bit before he wanted to, but like you said, not a bad effort there. And I like the play call on 1st and 10 there.
And again, gotta have a chance to stretch the field a little bit, keep that defense honest. Gerhardt's now on the sweep. Gets it out to the 45 only.
If I was East Brunswick, I'd have a little bit more sense of urgency here. We're down to, the last quarter here. I would, down 3 scores, gotta get moving here.
Two wide receivers split, man in the slot to the near side. Parker goes out in the pattern as well. Passes to Gerhardt's. Gerhardt's tries to get out inbounds, but I dropped it.
Yep.
That would have not been enough for the first down, but it would have at least given the Bears a chance, perhaps at a short yardage play. That'll bring up a 4th down and 8 now.
I don't know if this is a situation for it. Probably not on a 4th down, but I know East Brunswick has had some success in the past. Looks like they're going to punt the ball.
Well, again, 4th and 8. You're not used to making up 8 yards in one play. And if you give the ball back, you're really risking this score getting ugly fast. And I don't know if you want to do that at home and do that again. Have another 30-plus point loss. Ball bouncing around. Franklin's just going to let it roll. Nice the roll there. I mean, talking about, again, a 50-yard almost net punt.
And coach,
no return.
Yeah, Monroe coach is giving him an earful, not catching that ball.
Now, depending on who's coming out at quarterback, if you've got Volkman coming up at quarterback, stuff the run.
And if I'm South Brunswick, I keep doing that play until East Brunswick stops it. But exactly.
Just put 8 men in the box, stuff it up the middle. Because you have again 3 men, 3 wides, and 2 to the bottom. And again, Volkman's going to take it up the middle.
They got 5 yards. 3 maybe, 3 or 4.
Monroe Township, number 16, Kyle Volkman on the carry. Stop made by East Brunswick, number 31, Andrew. Gain of 3 yards, 2nd down and 7.
2nd and 7. Volkman again on the keeper. And we'll get up close to the 1st down. Again, why aren't you just working on that? Now there's a possibility of a ball.
I think they called him down. I thought I saw the ref mark it and say he was down, so I think this is not going to matter. Because I saw the ref's hand go up for 3rd down right away unless they're having a conversation here.
Well, 3rd down and short here, less than a yard.
You know what it is, it's a numbers game. It's, you know, my offensive line against your defensive line with the other guys spread out. So it's 5-on-5 basically with the quarterback, the 6th man, and
Whalen gets across the line of scrimmage and up to the 20, and that'll be a 1st down. 9:37 left here in the 4th.
Monroe Township, number 16.
Other thing this does for Monroe here is it keeps the clock moving.
Again, spread out, 3 wide receivers to the near side, 2 to the top, and Whalen falls forward, gets 3. Gets up to the 24-yard line.
Monroe Township, number 16, Kyle Volkman, on the keeper. Gain of 3 yards, 2nd down and 7.
And Caroli is back there now. Caroli's back in. So yeah, now you do have to respect the pass a little bit here. Inside hand, no, kind of a flanker screen here. And Ramos wraps up Danny Mattel-Oka short of the 30. Ball dropped, or Mattel-Oka dropped it at about the 28.
Pass to number 2, Danny Mattel-Oka. Stop made by number 27, Chris Ramos. A gain of 4, 3rd down, 3rd and 3.
3rd down, about 3. Franklin goes in motion. Caroli back to throw, looking deep.
Got him.
And that's going to be a pass interference right there, as face guarding was Lee Urshel, and having had a couple of steps, Nick Iasola had steps there on the defender, but just the ball was underthrown. That's where that penalty really, that ball was underthrown. And yet because
pass interference, 15 yards from the previous spot, which is the line of scrimmage, automatic 1st down.
it's you know, he's not going to catch it.
Right.
And yet because he's face guarding,
Right.
boom, the flag's got to come. All right, 15-yard penalty brings the ball out to the 43-yard line.
Penalty, good break. Monroe Falcon, 1st down. Number 33 for Monroe.
Here, Franklin.
Yeah, just kept chugging along. Offensive line was helping him out there. Continue to block till the whistle.
Caroli hands off inside. Rivera gets through. Breaks through that first level, contained, gets into the secondary and picks up 15, 17 yards on the play. And is down inside or just outside the 40-yard line, so 1st down from Monroe.
12 yards, good break. Monroe Falcon, 1st down.
Now, Caroli's not that big. I mean, he's not, you know, compared to Hemmings, you know, about the same size. It just, you can tell there's a better comfort level passing
Right.
the ball on the Mookie on the move. Penalty flag, they're going to get a hold there.
Yeah, number 44 there for Monroe.
And when you have a bigger body like 44 for Monroe on a smaller guy, you're going to really look bad
Exactly.
on most of those blocks to begin with.
Penalty holding against Monroe.
So a 10-yard penalty from the spot, and that spot was slightly behind the line of scrimmage.
Holding, offensive team, 10 yards from the spot, still 1st down.
And we must give our hand to the referees, the officials here.
Oh, yeah.
They've called a good game. I mean, there's only 5 of them in a high school game. You have the referee, you have the umpire, you have the 2 line judges and a back judge.
Yeah, they've done a nice job. And you know, Bill Young, who we have mic'd up, has given the viewers at home a call each time, so they know what's going on.
Caroli hits his man on the outside there. That's Eddie Small, who's not small in size-wise, bigger guy there.
To number 87, Eddie Small. Tackle on the play.
And Monroe kind of took what East Brunswick gave him there, and about a 10-yard cushion, so they were able to get some of that loss back.
And 11.
Flanker screen again for Saroka, trying to get around the outside, does, and it rides 3 East Brunswick defenders for about 8 more yards. It's going to be close to the first down marker, but it looks like it's going to be short.
A Monroe catch a pass complete to number 2, Danny Saroka. Stop made by East Brunswick, number 2, Jason.
Oh, you might even see Monroe, if they don't make it here, go for it. They're inside the 35.
Long 2 to get the first down. Caroli looking and overthrowing his man down the seam route there. Overthrowed C.J. Thompson, who has a touchdown in this game on a fumble return.
Yeah, you're right. He did have him there, just was too high. So Monroe's going to keep their offense out there. And
well, they bring Franklin into the game, and you would assume that this is going to be an inside handoff, and Franklin's going to get that chance to get the first down.
Up, East Brunswick went in the neutral zone there, it looks like.
Penalty on the play.
And penalty will cause the first down.
Against East Brunswick. A 5-yard penalty.
Looked like Monroe, quarterback there, gave a hard count, and East Brunswick jumped.
Rivera back there with Caroli. Back to pass, fakes, pumps, scrambles. Gonna plant his feet and throw, and throws it away. And we're gonna get a penalty somewhere. The side judge had a penalty there. I don't know what that was for.
Good hit on the quarterback there by number 17, Matt Bennon.
And maybe some extracurricular activity going on the sideline, and maybe a defensive hold. Okay. What do we got? Intentional grounding, they're going to call. Wow.
Huh.
And that call came originally from the side judge here. And then in talking with it, because he must have said that there was nobody in the area. Let's listen in.
Intentional grounding, offense, 5 yards, loss of down, second down.
Thing that hurts there too, with they obviously the game is 20-0, but when you have that penalty, it's from the spot of the foul. So not only do you lose the down, you lose the yardage there. It's going to be about a 2nd and 21, looks like.
2 wide receivers split to the bottom, 1 to the top of your screen. Man in motion, the inside handoff to Franklin. And the ball's on the ground. Franklin had it stripped out of his hands. Let's see who's got it. The signal is Monroe recovers.
Fumble on the play. Fumble recovered by Monroe.
Franklin got spun sideways and
Monroe running back number 33.
opened himself up a little bit there, and somebody got their hand in, some of the interior linemen, but unable to recover it for the Bears. So now a 3rd down and 21. Falcons have to get to the 18-yard line, so it's about 18 yards, excuse me. Caroli looking downfield, bloops one, has a man there, and he's out of bounds. Stepped on the sideline, the side judge right there. Had Nick Iasola there.
He was white. No one was covering him either. You can't lose that guy. I don't know what they have him listed in the program. He looks pretty tall from here, 6'4". But somehow he was able to sneak out there.
5:38 left to go. And the decision, I don't know what the decision here is. Looks like they're going to keep the offense on the field. Fourth and 18.
Almost jumped again. Monroe calls a timeout here.
Well, I don't think they got that timeout. The back judge has a delay, so now it's 4th and 22. I mean, the defender can move, just not enter the neutral zone.
Exactly. Or if the ball snapped and he's in the neutral zone, that would be a penalty. But you're right. If he goes in the neutral zone and gets back before the snap, that's okay. If he's in there when they snap it or he makes contact, that's where you get the penalty.
So the punt team now comes on. They were willing to go for it at 4th and 17, but 4th and 22, not willing to go for it. Schreiber puts it up, and Ramos lets it go, and that ball's going to bounce around to about the 8-yard line. Almost came up to it to catch it at about maybe the 15, but didn't quite get under it in time and let it bounce. Luckily, it didn't hit him. So with 5:29 left, here's a chance for the Bears to go almost the length of the field here as the ball spotted at the 4-yard line. 96 yards awaits the Bears' first home touchdown of the year.
Yeah, and little things like that, East Brunswick moving forward, you know, with an offense that, you know, struggles to score points. You want to get every ounce of field that you can, so when you let that ball bounce, you lose some yards. So that's something you want to improve on a little bit. East Brunswick will have a couple weeks to work on some things.
Handoff inside, getting maybe to the 5. Again, this is a field position game here. If the Bears don't move this ball, they're going to be punting out of their own end zone. And that'll guarantee pretty much field position for Monroe on the positive side of the 50. Second down and 9. Gerhardt get that one and gets over the 5-yard line to the 6, maybe the 7. Gain of 2, possibly 3. This will bring up a 3rd down and 6. Third and 6. Gerhardt's, Parker, Ramos in the backfield. Inside handoff and getting up to maybe the line of scrimmage. And that'll bring out the punt team. Now, Chris Jones had a good night so far. A couple of punts that have bounced around, giving him some real positive yardage with no returns. Monroe's going to send Akir Franklin back along with Danny Mattel-Oka, and Mattel-Oka, the up man here, is at the 30. Akir Franklin's at around the 45-yard line. Snap is good. The kick is away, and a good punt. Franklin's going to have a chance to field it at the 45. Has trouble. A wall of blockers for it. Gets around to the outside. One man to beat, really. Tries to dance around and get inside. Does. Makes it and gets to the end zone for a touchdown. Akira Franklin with a 45-yard punt return for a touchdown. You can see that wall setting up on that right side right away.
Yeah. And that's it's tough directional kicking. Jones did it pretty well that first time, but when you give a guy like Franklin there that open field, he's able to
that was a good,
find the wall. Yeah, it was a good punt.
Good punt.
It was a good punt. He got some air underneath it. Good job by Monroe setting up that wall, and then around the 10, Franklin made a real nice move to kind of cut it back up and score. They say sometimes those long, high punts are the most returnable sometimes.
And the extra point is good. 27-0 our score.
Well, 3:05 left here. Let's see if East Brunswick in this last 3 minutes can maybe
just get on the board.
Yeah.
You know, that's the moral victory right here. Get on the board. Do a smart play calling. Take advantage of opportunities. No penalties.
And I know people, on the sports radio, sports TV always say, what if, who knows East Brunswick on that one drive, if they do get a touchdown on that drive where they get it inside the 3 in the first half, it could be a totally different game. Because East Brunswick really, I thought in the first half, really played well overall.
Yeah, there have been lapses here. The fumble return, the obviously the punt return here.
Right. But, 10-0 that first half could have easily been, I think the way East Brunswick played.
Well, if you take away those 2 big plays, it's only 13-0 right now.
Yeah.
And then if East Brunswick managed the field goal, managed to take care of the ball better.
Exactly.
Line drive kick, bouncing. Parker's going to pick it up at the 15. He's going to try to break through. We'll bring it out to around the 35-yard line. So with 2:56 left to go. Again, this game will be rebroadcast twice, once October 4th, Thursday at 8 p.m., and then November 11th as part of a marathon, Sunday the 11th, as part of a marathon of East Brunswick High School fall athletics. Fortunately, the cheerleaders down here, the St. Bart's cheerleaders and the EB cheerleaders, haven't had a lot to cheer about. Hemmings gets through into the secondary, gets it across midfield to the 49-yard line. First down, Bears.
Stop made by Monroe, number 27, AJ Guerrero. And run for East Brunswick Bears, first down.
Clock running, 2:30 remaining. Parker, the lone setback behind Hemmings. Drops back to pass, looking down the middle. Now we'll throw it in the flat to Benton. Breaks the 1 tackle, breaks 2 tackles, and stumbles forward to the 44-yard line.
East Brunswick pass complete.
Good job there by Hemmings as well as Benton there. Hemmings looking down the field, didn't see anything, knew where his check down receiver was, and Benton did a pretty good job of breaking a tackle there and getting positive yards.
But that play was flushed out better because you had 2 receivers running seam routes, clearing out that area. There was only that 1 man in that first wave to beat. Inside handoff, Parker. Parker gets it down to about the 40. It'll bring up a third down, and 2 yards to go.
Obviously, the score is the enemy of East Brunswick now, but so is the clock if they want to get on the board here. There's going to be about a minute 10-ish when they snap this ball, so not a lot of time left in the game.
Well, third down, get the first down. Chains will move and clock will stop temporarily. Then maybe you start burning your 3 timeouts. Hemmings drops back to pass, looks down the middle, and
caught it.
But we've got a penalty,
hit.
a late hit, and that's going to negate an interception there by Thompson, who's already had a fumble recovery for a touchdown.
Roughing the passer on defense.
So that mark-off will bring the ball to about the 24-yard line, 15-yard penalty.
And actually,
Foul, roughing the passer, defense, 15 yards previous spot, automatic first down.
And C.J. Thompson there actually did a pretty good job of holding on to that ball because his teammate
nailed him, yeah.
Hit him pretty good there.
Well, that just looked like it was going to be intercepted, and boom. Fortunately for the Bears, though, you had the penalty. Ball on the 26-yard line. Hemmings back, looking, firing. Oh, he had Fisher behind the defense and just out of his reach. That was a well-disguised play, and Fisher, had coverage back there, but just out of his reach.
Yeah, and like you said, well disguised, but you wonder what Monroe is thinking. Of course they're going to try to throw the ball or get something. So for him to get behind the defense and just a tiny bit out of his reach there, that would have been nice to get on the board for the Bears.
Parker, your lone setback. Again, playing jump ball with Fisher. And this time, though, Thompson gets his interception as that ball was slightly underthrown with 48 seconds left to go.
Sometimes in that situation, as a receiver, you want to try to, if you can't get the ball, at least be a defender and see if you could knock it out. But
well, the Bears don't have that receiver of size as they've had over the years.
Exactly.
To go up for those kind of jump ball plays. And in that case, you kind of feel that there's going to be a pass with 50 seconds left. They're going to have.
Yeah, Anthony Fisher, you're throwing a ball to a 5'8" guy, so.
Monroe in the victory formation will take a knee, and unlike Greg Schiano and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, we're not going to see the Bears come across the line of scrimmage. As the clock is winding down here. And that will probably be the last play of this game. We'd like to take this opportunity right now to thank the EBTV technical crew for coming out. They come out a couple of hours before the game and set everything up here. They do a great job in supporting East Brunswick High School athletics. Richie, this game, the first half, this was close. You could smell that something could be working for the Bears. But
yeah, exactly. You hate to constantly say that moral victories and things like that. I thought East Brunswick, especially the first half, played a really nice game. The scoreboard didn't show that 10-0 they were down, but I think a lot of positives to draw on. Like you had said before, they have a couple weeks off before their next game. They dropped to 1-3. Monroe moves to 3-1. But I think you can build on some things from what we saw today.
If you take out the two big plays in the second half, the fumble recovery for a touchdown and the punt return for a touchdown, it's only a 13-0 score.
Yeah, against a good Monroe offense, so a lot of positives. Obviously, they got to work offensively a little bit with, through 16 quarters. They have one quarter where they scored the 14 points to beat North Brunswick, so that's obviously an issue.
All right, for Richie Whalen, I'm Ken Saroka. Again, the final score here, Monroe Falcons 27, the Bears no score. Again, thanks to the EBTV technical crew, and have a great evening.